Emma, have you ever felt guilty for just sitting around and doing nothing?
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I try to relax, there's this little voice in my head saying, you should be doing something productive.
Exactly. It feels like we always have to be busy, checking things off our to-do list, learning a new skill, or at least scrolling through our phones.
But what if I told you that doing nothing, yes, absolutely nothing, could actually make you more productive, more creative, and even healthier?
Wait, so you're saying that instead of working harder, we should sometimes do nothing at all?
That's exactly what I'm saying. In this episode, we'll explore why we always feel the need to be busy, the surprising benefits of slowing down, and how taking intentional breaks can actually boost your brain power.
And by the end of this episode, you'll have practical ways to add doing nothing into your daily routine without guilt.
All right, then, let's dive in.
So, Emma, why do we feel guilty when we're not constantly doing something?
Well, a big part of it comes from society. We live in a world that celebrates being busy. The more packed your schedule is, the more successful you seem.
Yeah, I've noticed that. If someone asks, "How have you been?" and you answer, "Oh, I've been really busy," it almost sounds like a badge of honor.
Exactly. And on top of that, social media makes it worse. We see people posting about how productive they are, waking up at 5 a.m., working out, learning a new language, running a business. It makes us feel like we should be doing more all the time.
And if we take a break, we feel lazy, right?
Yes, but here's the truth. Being constantly busy doesn't mean you're actually productive. In fact, studies show that when you don't take breaks, your brain gets overloaded and you end up being less efficient.
That makes sense. I've noticed that when I work for hours without stopping, I actually start making more mistakes and get distracted more easily.
Exactly. And there's even a term for it, hustle culture. It's the idea that we should always be working, always grinding, and that rest is for the weak.
Wow. So, we've been tricked into thinking that doing nothing is a bad thing, when in reality, it might be exactly what we need.
That's right. And up next, we'll talk about how taking breaks can actually make you more creative and focused.
Okay, Emma. So we've talked about how society makes us feel guilty for resting. But let's get into the good stuff. How does doing nothing actually help us?
Great question. Have you ever had a brilliant idea while taking a shower or just staring out the window?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I struggle with a problem for hours and then, boom! The answer just pops into my head when I'm not even thinking about it.
Exactly. That happens because when you stop focusing intensely on something, your brain enters what's called the default mode network. It's like your brain's background processing system. It keeps working on problems even when you're not actively thinking about them.
So when I take a break, my brain is actually still working?
That's right. In fact, research shows that people who take regular breaks are more creative and solve problems faster than those who work nonstop.
Wow. So I don't actually need to force creativity. It happens naturally when I let my brain rest.
Exactly. Think about famous inventors, writers, and artists. Many of them got their best ideas while relaxing or doing something unrelated to their work.
Like Einstein. I remember reading that he used to take long walks just to let his mind wander.
Exactly. And Steve Jobs was famous for staring out the window and daydreaming. He believed that some of his best ideas came when he wasn't forcing himself to think.
That's amazing. But I guess most of us don't take enough of these kinds of breaks.
Exactly. Instead of letting our minds wander, we fill every free moment with distractions, checking our phones, watching videos, or scrolling through social media.
Right. If I have even 30 seconds of free time, I instinctively reach for my phone.
And that's a problem because our brains need true downtime, time to do absolutely nothing. That's when creativity kicks in.
So, if I want to be more creative and focused, I should actually schedule time to do nothing?
Exactly. And next, we'll talk about the science behind why this works.
All right, so we know that doing nothing can boost creativity, but what's actually happening in the brain when we take a break?
Great question. When we stop focusing on a task, our brain switches to something called the default mode network, or DMN. It's like the brain's background operating system. It keeps running even when we're not actively thinking about anything.
Okay, so instead of shutting down, my brain is actually still processing information?
Exactly. Studies show that when the DMN is activated, the brain connects past experiences, emotions, and new information in a way that helps us solve problems, improve memory, and spark creativity.
That's wild. So, my brain is working even when I think I'm doing nothing?
Yes. And here's another cool fact. When we're constantly distracted by notifications, emails, or even background noise, our brain never fully activates this mode. That's why people often feel mentally exhausted but not necessarily productive.
That explains why I feel drained after scrolling on my phone for an hour, even though I wasn't doing anything hard.
Exactly. Your brain was constantly switching between small tasks, which takes up a lot of mental energy. But if you let yourself fully disconnect, your brain can process information more efficiently.
So, let me get this straight. When I stop working and truly unplug, my brain actually becomes smarter?
Yes, neuroscientists say that intentional rest leads to better problem solving, more aha moments, and even stronger memory retention.
Wow. I always thought that taking breaks would slow me down, but it turns out they actually help me perform better?
That's right. And the best part? You don't need to take hours off. Just a few minutes of doing nothing can make a big difference.
All right, I'm convinced. But how do I actually make time for this in my daily routine?
Great question. Next, we'll share some simple ways to add doing nothing to your day without feeling guilty.
All right, Emma, I'm convinced. Doing nothing is actually good for me. But how do I actually make time for it in my busy day?
Great question. The key is to be intentional about taking breaks instead of just waiting until you're completely exhausted.
Okay, but what does intentional rest actually look like?
Let's go over some simple ways to add more doing nothing into your daily routine without feeling guilty.
I'm listening.
First, try micro breaks. Just 1 or 2 minutes of doing absolutely nothing can reset your brain. Instead of grabbing your phone, just sit, stare out the window, and let your mind wander.
Okay, that sounds simple. What else?
Second, turn off distractions when you rest. Most of us scroll on social media or watch videos when we take a break, but that's still keeping our brains busy.
That's true. I always feel like I should relax by watching something, but my brain is still working.
Exactly. Instead, try doing nothing on purpose. No screens, no music, just a few minutes of quiet time.
That's going to take some getting used to. What's another way to incorporate this?
You can also take slow, intention walks without your phone. Just walk and let your mind drift. It helps clear your head and can lead to unexpected creative ideas.
I love that. I feel like I always have to listen to a podcast or music when I walk, but maybe I should try just enjoying the silence.
Definitely. And here's one last idea. Schedule nothing time in your day. Just 5 or 10 minutes where you do absolutely nothing. No planning, no worrying, just pure rest.
Okay, so to sum up, take micro breaks, avoid distractions, go for slow walks, and schedule time to do nothing.
That's right. And next, we'll wrap up with a final challenge for our listeners.
Wow, Em. I never thought doing nothing could be so powerful. I always felt guilty for taking breaks, but now I see they're actually helping my brain.
Exactly. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. If you want to be more creative, focused, and less stressed, you need to give your brain time to recharge.
And the best part is, it doesn't take much. Just a few minutes of doing nothing can boost creativity, improve memory, and reduce stress.
So now we have a challenge for you.
That's right. We challenge you to take 5 minutes today to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just sit and let your mind wander.
And then tell us in the comments, how did it feel? Was it easy? Hard? Did you notice anything different?
And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Thanks for listening to 6 Minute English. We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.